Hello guys, welcome to the Machine Learning Mindset. This is Sina. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about how you guys can operate or apply a specific function on top of a data frame, whether on the whole data or specific columns or rows. So as usual, we are going to use Google Collaboratory. So I'm going to import Pandas as PD and NumPy as NP here, and I go ahead and connect. So now my environment is ready to use, so I just go ahead, create the data. So here the data that I'm creating is, in previous tutorials we use the same data as well. So I do have a data which is specific to a patient, the glucose level for different admissions, basically. So here when I'm just assigning different ages, so it can basically infer that we have multiple patients or a specific patient's records in different ages. Both are basically the same for this specific healthcare data set. So we have the glucose level, the age, and the pre-diabetes conditions, the assumption whether no, yes, or yes. This is a specific attribute that we use. So we create the Pandas data frame. So in previous tutorials we talked about how we should do it. So we have a data frame and we run this. So the column indexes are glucose, age, pre-diabetes attributes, and the indexes are Alice, Eve, and Bob. Here when we assign different indexes with different names, we say each of these data are relevant to a specific patient. So let's just run it. So you do see the output here. I just previously run that, but once again with the same data, I'm just going to run it to show you the results. So here, down here, we do have the specific adding operations that we are going to add specific kind of number to the whole data frame. Let's say 2 on the column of glucose. So let's just add it. So here it says on the whole data set, we take the glucose column and we add 2 to each column elements, and here we do have the results. So we previously talked about this specific kind of operations using NumPy on a Python data frame. But what about having a function? So we do have this function f equals to lambda x, which is equivalent to max x plus 2. So this x should represent something in a data frame, and we plus this calculation to 2. So let's take this and apply this specific function on a data frame. We can apply using this apply method the functions, and when we do apply, it just apply the specific function on rows or columns. By default it applies it on rows, but we showcase the axis equal to 0 for more clarity. So we take 2 columns, glucose and age, that has attributes that this specific function can be applied to. Because this is a mathematical function, it expects to receive some number, not anything like no or yes. So we only take the columns of glucose and age from data frame, and we apply the function on that specific data frame that on top we created. So here I'm going to use axis 0. Let's just run it. So you do see that when we run that on axis 0, here there is a row and there is a column. So when we take this thing on all rows, it means for the first column it takes the max of all of them, which is 124.7, and just add 2 to it, which is the glucose, and it takes it over the second column and all rows because we put that on 0, and the maximum is 52, and plus 2 is going to be 54. So basically this axis equal to 0 is the operation is going to apply for the whole rows, and for each column we're going to have a representative. So let's just change this to axis equal to 1. So what do we expect to get? So when we axis equal to 1, it means operate the whole thing over the columns. It means for each row we basically have a max here, which is 91.2, and we add it to 2, we have 93.8. So here the axis 1 means columns, so we do operations row wise on all columns. This is how we can interpret this thing. So some of these notations might be confusing, so I suggest you go ahead and just try different kind of usage of apply function to have a better idea of how you can do this. So for this function, we can have basically any function that supports the specific type of data that we do have on the data frame. So let's just go ahead. What if we want to do some specific thing on the whole data element wise, not rows or columns? Here we use the element wise operation. We define the function numpy sqrt x plus 2, and we use the apply map method on the data frame. Means we take the whole elements of the data, and one by one we just take this sqrt, and whatever the result is, we make it plus 2. So this is what we have. And here when we do apply a specific thing, we do have these elements here. As the apply, we have 3 rows. So for each we have the numpy sqrt, means the sqrt of the specific element, plus 2, and here's the output of the data. Right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. So this was a very basic syntax representation of using apply and apply map function, which are very useful in working with data. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I would be happy to answer them all. Thank you so much for watching.